Hello, I just finished watching La La Land. It just makes me so happy, it's such a good movie. I just wanted to share some of the many thoughts and musings that are swirling through my mind right now after watching that movie. Still in tears, that ending gets me every time. So, La La Land makes me feel like such a purist. It really makes me want to be an actor, a director, a player, and writer of music, and artist in any way possible. So often I'm chastised by my peers as to the idealistic view of the world that I hold. But watching this movie for the third time, I reveled at the beauty of the cinematography, the perfection of the color palette, and the impeccable score. Oh, don't even get me started. The last time I watched the movie was in January, and since then I've listened to the soundtrack so many times. I know every song off by heart and every little instrumental trill. I've learnt the theme song off by heart on the piano. I've waltzed around in the darkness of my house to the swell of the grand orchestral piece in the the observatory. So watching it again made me realize how much I feel connected to this movie. The journey of trying to hold on to a childhood dream in an unforgiving world, and the reality of sacrifices that have to be made to succeed. And then I wonder why I'm chastised by those who tell me to take life as it comes, not to be expectant of an idyllic life. So that attitude to me, this attitude of just going with the flow, that is both the perfume and the poison of the youth of today. The idea of living in the moment, of accepting things that are less than we'd hoped. Making excuses that this is what you have to do to make the most of life, to be young and reckless and to care about nothing. Teenagers, to me, are as Los Angeles is to Ryan Gosling in the movie. He says,
They worship everything and they value nothing.
They settle for less and they stop trying because they fear that nothing better is to come. Another thing from the movie is what Mia says to Sebastian when he gives in to the trap of money making and forgetting his own dreams when he joins the band and he is about to let go of his dream of starting his own club. She reminds him that
and people love what other people are passionate about.
I love that. Sebastian is a purist. He has an undying passion for pure jazz. He appreciates every facet of the history it holds and the mystery it brings. He gets told that his idols themselves were revolutionaries and that he has to evolve. And that seems to make so much sense, almost to the point that the director Damien Chazelle seems to be conveying a point that is opposite to the idea that he is conveying. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's like he's saying that old dreams are not worth pursuing, when the whole idea of the movie to me is that old dreams are always worth pursuing. I think inside that I'm a purist too. I'm OCD in an unconventional way. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate fusion of cultures and styles and fusion of foods, but I think negating the laws of the original art form is a crime. I watch a ballet dancer and I feel a sense of satisfaction when she creates the shape of a perfect arabesque on stage, angular yet graceful. And I live for the fact that animated children's films such as Moana begin as nothing but stop-motion flip-page animations before they're animated digitally. It's like an ode to the original art form, and I think it's so beautiful. I love and appreciate the attention to detail in the one-shot scenes in movies, like the opening of La La Land, and yeah, so I'm a not-so-closet purist. Anyway, on another note, I cried at the exact same moment I did when I first watched the film. When Mia and her unnamed beau visits Seb's and Ryan Gosling is on the piano playing their theme, and the flashback of like what could have been ends, and you see that it's Ryan. Even though I've watched it like 3 times, I'm always overwhelmed by the feeling of disappointment and lost hope when you see that Sebastian is not with Mia, but is just playing piano in the club. Oh, this feeling that everything is perfect, but for one thing that you can't place. You know, that feeling of having everything you want, but just not being emotionally satisfied. I think that this is something that, like, well, I don't know if I'm the only person that feels this, but I reckon that Damien Chazelle captured that emotion, that really human emotion in the film. So, yeah, La La Land, those are my musings. I remember I hated it when I first watched it because I just expected so much. I'd heard people rave about it, and I watched it under such a critical eye of a filmmaker that I spotted many cinematic errors and just kept thinking about how I could have improved it. So much so that watching it that first time, I forgot to just sit back and enjoy it. But, like, even though I still cried after the epilogue because, amazing. And then the second time I watched it, I just sat back and enjoyed it. I think the sheer immensity of the production, the spectacular show that was presented in a whole new way on the screen, just got to me, and I completely fell in love. Now, I think it's like 11 months later, I can't remember when it first came out, but I still am in love. You know, I have a feeling that this will be a movie that I will watch and a soundtrack that I will listen to over and over and over again, and I reckon it's just set to be a classic right from the get-go. It's taught me so many things in watching it and following the characters' experiences. It's taught me to have high hopes and no expectations. It taught me to hold on to pure dreams and pursue them with passion. To bring with you people that support your dreams and to let go of people that don't. And most of all, I think something that I realized that I think is so important is that purism and the state of being a romantic isn't and will never be dead.